Hey and welcome back. In my last video, we reviewed another one of the US Department of Labor's monthly job economy updates. These releases provide us with a number of valuable data points that give us a deeper understanding of not only the current state of the job market, but indeed the entire economy as a whole. After the huge negative impact the pandemic had on our economy, the US had been closely monitoring the status of our job market. The good news is that we do seem to be slowly but surely approaching a state of something resembling normalcy, if such a thing actually exists. For instance, we've already gained back around 95% of the jobs that were lost at the beginning of the pandemic. Additionally, since the beginnings of the year, we've seen hundreds of thousands of new payrolls added to the job market. That said, the US still faces some struggles. The percentage of the population that are participating in the labor force remains fairly low, and we're seeing a shortage of labor across a variety of industries. In addition, the unemployment rate is stagnating, and as a result, the Federal Reserve is hiking up interest rates, thereby slowing company growth and their hiring efforts as well. This tumultuous time definitely leaves a long-term state of the overall economy up in the air. Many economists are hopeful that we're seeing the final effects of the pandemic and will soon return to normal. Conversely, others aren't really so sure and think a recession may be in the cards. It's important to go into an economic recession as prepared as possible. So while it's hard to be sure if a recession is truly on its way, it's better to be safe than sorry. Looking for a job in a recession can be very challenging. In this video, we're going to explore what a recession is, and more importantly, some helpful strategies for finding and keeping a job during one. But before we get started, as always, please consider to like, subscribe, click that bell, really means a lot. As should be obvious to anyone who watches my channel, finding a job isn't always easy. This is especially true during a recession. But why? To understand, let's first review what a recession actually is. What is a recession? A recession signifies an extended period of significant economic decline. There isn't one single element that defines a recession, but it can include one or all of these common indicators: a drop in the stock market, reductions in consumer and business spending habits, higher than average unemployment, and an uptick in the number of bankruptcies. The overall result of this is a decrease in the gross domestic product, or GDP. Indeed defines the GDP as a number that measures the value of goods and services the industries produce within a specific time frame. All of these pressures will put a strain on businesses who may be forced to cut roles and cut back on their hiring efforts in order to cut costs and save money. As a result, candidates looking for roles may have a harder time during a recession, but there are some ways that you can prepare for the situation. If you're looking for a job during a recession, here are some helpful tips to keep in mind. Beginning the process. So one common theme I found across the various sources I used to research this episode, I think bears emphasizing before you even start to think about the job hunting process. You want to stay patient, positive, and flexible. Like I said, job hunting is no easy task, and it's especially daunting in a tumultuous period such as a recession. It's honestly easy to get really caught up in the job application process, and even easier to get flustered and frustrated with it. Perhaps you've spent some time looking for new roles and haven't had any luck. You may feel the urge to push yourself into overdrive. It's important to be able to take a step back and take a break. Fatigue leads to burnout, and burnout, well, will affect your overall attitude. Without a positive attitude, you won't be approaching these job opportunities at your best mindset and headspace, likely further complicating your search. Schedule self-care time. Remember to take your time so you don't get overwhelmed. It may take a bit longer to find a job that's right for you, but if you maintain positive outlook throughout the process, it will honestly certainly help you emphasize your determination and overall attitude to a potential employer. Once you put yourself into a positive headspace, you can then begin to think about looking for a job. Look beyond the job title or field. During a recession, it may be necessary to look outside your traditional role or industry if you want to find consistent work. Consider this especially if you've been laid off from a long-term position, as this may indicate the role is being axed in other organizations as well. Consider instead looking for specific companies you're familiar with. Alternatively, look for roles that utilize similar skills, even if it's not a perfect fit. You may end up with some new valuable experience. You may even think about going outside your field entirely and looking for new industries to work in. If that's the case, perhaps consider researching recession-proof industries. Recession-proof industries. Many industries suffer during a recession because consumers have less spending power. For instance, they may be less likely to eat out or see a movie due to less expendable income. As such, you'll want to avoid those types of industries when looking for a job during a recession. However, there are certain industries that are more necessary than others and are less or not at all impacted by the effects of recession. Some industries may even experience growth during a recession. Here are some recession-proof industries to consider when looking for a job in a recession. Healthcare, supermarket and groceries, discount retail, utilities, government, education, maintenance repair, financial services, IT, manufacturing, and shipping. Focus your search. If you're struggling to find a job, it may seem logical to cast as wide of a net as possible. That may be the case, but also consider narrowing your search and going after a small number of specific jobs that are appropriate for you rather than applying to every open position you can find. The more effort you can focus on jobs you care about, the more you'll stand out to those employers. So be sure not to stretch yourself too thin. It's best to start out wide and quickly narrow your search. Once you've located a handful of especially interesting jobs, don't continue to look for more. Focus on those ones. Consider your network. With the relative ease of getting started on internet's various job boards, it's also easy to get caught up in the online application process, but you don't want to overlook another significant resource, your own network. Especially if you're coming from a previous position that you lost due to the recession, don't let your old connections fall by the wayside. It's possible that they may know of open positions not being advertised online, and they can reach out to their own network of connections to assist you further. Of course, you can even consider reaching out to your friends and family as well. Harvard Business Review has an excellent in-depth article on using your personal network to look for job opportunities. The author, Claudio Fernandez Arauz, emphasizes the importance of quantity during this type of search. The chances of your closest friends and family having work for you are slim, so you have to go outside your comfort zone and consider acquaintances and even vaguely familiar connections. It can be a daunting and nerve-wracking process, but it can also be incredibly valuable in a number of ways. Not only will you improve your social skills and make deeper connections, but reminding people that you're open to work helps get the word out. You may find strangers will start reaching out to you if you utilize your personal network frequently. Consider temp work or freelancing. If you expect more jobs to open up in your respective industry after the end of a recession, you may consider taking on temp work to fill the time until you're able to find more appropriate long-term roles. Temp work can last for anywhere from a few weeks to even a few years, and you'll have the opportunity to work for a variety of different companies performing fairly basic but important odd jobs related to their everyday operations. Temp work can even lead to more permanent positions in the future as well. If you're interested in finding temp work, also don't forget to reach out to temp staffing agencies. There are plenty around and they're always happy to help you out. If temp work isn't really your thing, you may also consider offering your skills to others as a freelancer as well. This isn't applicable to everyone's field, and it certainly takes more effort to do, but it will also take some time to advertise and establish yourself while building up a portfolio and clients, but the payoff can be extremely rewarding. Here's one more thing to keep in mind. Don't forget your resume and your cover letter. These help solidify an employer's first impression of you, so keen attention to detail is important here. If you struggle with crafting effective resumes or cover letters, consider reaching out to a specialist who can help prepare those for you. They can make all the difference. Or check out some of the past videos I made on some of the best ways that you can improve both of them. So this just about wraps up today's episode on finding a job during a recession, but surely this only scratches the surface. Do you have anything to add, especially from your experience? Love to hear from you. Please make sure to comment down below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please feel free to like, subscribe, click that bell. It really means a lot. Feel free to also follow me at @press_park as I try my best to also post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.